Red Sox outfielder Wilyer Abreu is a Gold Glove winner. Should the Red Sox trade him while the value is high? We'll discuss. All right, we're back with a new episode of the Obstructed View Baseball Podcast presented by Beyond the Monster. I'm your host, Chris Henrik, and I am once again with my co-host, Kevin. We're going to talk Red Sox once again, and we're going to focus this episode on Red Sox outfielder, newly minted Gold Glove winner out of right field, Wilyer Abreu. But before we get into what we're going to talk about on that, head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and hit that subscribe button. 1, we really would appreciate that. 2, hit that like button. That'll help us out quite a bit. And 3, you'll get notified when a brand new episode of the Obstructed View Baseball Podcast, To the Show We Go, you name it, drops. Also head over to beyondthemonster.substack.com. Get all of the latest content, including Ed Hand's free agent tracker. Check that out. 170 players currently ranked in there. We'll go up to 300. A lot of information that's in there. Subscribe. It's free for now. The keyword is for now. So, all right. Wilyer Abreu. He won the Gold Glove. He won the Fielding Bible. That's a thing. So he won those 2 awards. He's arguably right now one of the best right fielders in all of baseball. I'm still putting Juan Soto ahead of him. I don't care what he won this year. But should the Red Sox trade Wilyer Abreu this winter to improve the bullpen or the pitching staff?
Yeah. Yes. And yes. You'll never get value higher than it currently is. Like, you can market him, beat it into the ground that, hey, this guy's a great defensive outfielder. Give him to whoever the market is, right? Like, there's got to be other teams that are looking for it, building around it, contenders that need to shore up the outfield, whatever. Like, so yes, 100%. The main reason I would say to trade him is we've been hammered with the young guys coming up, the Fantastic Four, the Core Four, whatever you want to call it. They're all lefty. They're all a lefty hitting outfielder. Yeah, Mayer's a shortstop. We get it. But the same idea is you can only have so many outfielders. Like, there's only 3 outfield spots. And if you're telling me that these guys are the future, then someone's got to go. And if trading Abreu means you're bringing in a bullpen piece, you're bringing in a starter, yeah, that's you got to trade something to get something. And I think Abreu's value is high enough right now that see what he gets, see what he brings back, because eventually we are so far committed to this young guy path that it's fine. Then let's see it. This is what you've been telling Sox fans to wait for. Well, just wait. These guys are coming. All right, great. Let them play then. Let your plan play out, because you have one side of the aisle that really believes in it, and the other side that's like, there's no way these prospects are going to be as good as they say. They're not the future. They're going to be solid players, but they're not the Mookie Betts of the world. So see how it plays out. And pure number standpoint, Abreu's got to go because we have needs we need to fill, and he can help fill those needs in a return for him.
Yeah, I mean, from a defensive standpoint, he led all right fielders with 17 defensive runs saved last season. He was ranked in the 98th percentile in baseball for arm strength, 94.8 miles per hour, 91st percentile and about an ounce above average at 7. His arm value, which basically means he hits the cutoff man, gets guys out, he's getting guys out, holding runners, to one bag, stuff like that. Second best in the American League at 3. So defensively, he's everything that you're looking, especially for a team that struggled so much defensively the last couple of years. It's crazy. We're talking about maybe trading a guy that is so good defensively when your defense is putrid. But you do have that issue. You have a left-handed hitting Jarren Duran that plays center and left field. You have a left-handed hitting Masataka Yoshida, who will probably, the only time he's going to step into left field is in a pregame warmup. He's never going to play probably the outfield again, which we also learned why he didn't play the outfield. It's not because they wanted to DH him. They had to DH him because his arm was garbage. His shoulder was gunk and had to have surgery. But the Red Sox were not forthcoming with that and hid behind the whole, well, we don't want to play him in the field. We just want to DH him. That's going to be a different topic for another point. We'll do that in another episode because I can go on with that one. But offensively, though, with Wilyer Abreu, his offensive numbers are just they're mid. You know what I mean? Like they're not. He's not an offensive player that I got to be like I got to hang on to this dude, right? He had time on the IL. I'm going to say one of his injuries was stupid. He twisted his ankle walking down the steps at Fenway Park into the dugout. Every big leaguer wears metal cleats, and you're twisting your ankle. It's like it's what I would imagine somebody dressing up in drag, wearing high heels for the first time, is what I imagined would be as Wilyer Abreu walking down the stairs to get into the dugout. Like, first time I ever do that as a analogy into a podcast. That's what popped into my head. So I'm just going to go with it. 253 last year, 15 homers, 33 doubles, 2 triples, 58 RBI, 8 stolen bases, 40 walks, and a 781 OPS. Not terrible numbers, but not numbers to which I'm going to say I have to hang on to this guy. But you don't have to necessarily trade this guy. I don't want the Red Sox to make a trade for the sake of making a trade. Yes, they're left-handed heavy. We know that. They need to make sure that if you're going to package Wilyer Abreu, what does the return look like? Now, there's a lot of Red Sox fans that seem to think that Wilyer Abreu is going to be able to be the centerpiece to a package to get you Garrett Crochet. I don't think that that's the case.
No.
You're going to have to give up some of your big four in addition to Wilyer Abreu. Defensively, Wilyer Abreu is a stud, and there's tremendous value from that standpoint. Contractually, there's value. He's 25. You get all that stuff. But I think offensively, you can find what I just named you for numbers in the market. Now, he's going to get Rookie of the Year votes. I don't think he wins the Rookie of the Year. I think Ceddanne Rafaela is more of a candidate than Wilyer Abreu is. But Wilyer Abreu is going to get consideration because of the obviously some of the awards. But I think they cast those votes a while ago. But whatever. I'm torn, though. I am torn because I'd like to figure out a way to maybe keep him because the defense was so bad. I'd like to, having a sound right fielder at Fenway Park is like you can't. I don't know. Like, can you put a value on that? You know what I mean? Mookie Betts was one thing, and he's a generational player. Verdugo was okay in right field. We wanted Verdugo to put up exactly what Abreu did this year. Is there a path that the Red Sox could keep him? I mean, you can't move Yoshida. The surgery is going to prevent that trade unless you're going to eat practically all the money and maybe, a player or two with that. Coley Mick, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but or X or whatever we want to call it. Coley Mick is more in favor of trading Jarren Duran and cashing in on his value. I'm torn on that too, because think about when's the last time the Red Sox had a legitimate leadoff hitter that set the tone at the top of the lineup?
You can maybe say Betts. Maybe I even want
there, but Jacoby Ellsbury is the only one that really comes to mind right now.
That was the one I was going back to. I know that's out there, and I get it. I get wanting to trade Duran. I understand it, but at the same time, you need to commit to something. Like you need to find your corner pieces, and the turnaround that Duran had from year one to this year, I think speaks more volume to how he's going to be as a player than Wilyer Abreu winning the Gold Glove. Now, is there a path to keep him? Yeah, absolutely. And the path is the Red Sox continue to do what the Red Sox have done in the last 2, 3, 4 years. And it's just, we're not going to sign anyone. We're not going to, we'll throw $10 million at Joe Schmo that's left on the last day of free agency, and hopefully that pans out. So I also don't want the notion to go around that we're trading someone to trade someone. No. But I'm also not against, I don't really have a list of people to not trade. Like if you told me, hey, we're going to trade Duran for X, Y, and Z. Okay. Yeah. Hey, we're going to trade two of the big four to get Crochet, to get whoever. Okay. Yeah. Like I think the Red Sox are in such dire need of improvements on a variety of areas within their team that you have to make moves to get this team better. To me, and I don't think it gets pushed on enough with how easy it is to make the MLB playoffs now. Needs to be more magnified of like, this is how much of a failure this season has been. It's easy to get into the playoffs. And I say easy, but like, you know what I mean? It's not, if you finish 5 games over 500, you're in the playoffs. If you finish 10 games over 500, you're in the playoffs. Like, you can't do that, and you're the Boston Red Sox. To me is crazy. So I'm not really attached to anyone. I just want this team to show that they truly care about being in contention for a championship every year. Like, hey, we want to be in the playoffs. We want to win a championship. We understand we don't win a championship every year, but we want to be there. And I think to get there, you have to trade guys that have value. You have to make, like, guys you're torn on. Wilyer Abreu, Duran, Casas. Go down the list of guys that are like, I don't know. Those are probably the guys that have a lot of value that can help you in areas of weakness. That's why I'm not really tied to any of them. I'm like, yeah, you got to do this. Everyone wanted to shove down our throat how great Yoan Moncada and
he's a free agent this winter.
He is. He's coming back. I'm telling you. But the point is that this guy's the future. Yeah, he's a solid MLB player. Like, you trade him, and I'm blanking on the other guy's name. I know he closed it out with the Dodgers, but you trade those two for Chris Sale. It's a no-brainer. Like, yeah, all right, that's what we wanted to do. That's what you need to do. So you have to give up something to get something. And if that something is Wilyer Abreu as part of a deal, he's not going to be the centerpiece. Stop thinking this guy's that good. He's a solid defensive player. But like you said, his offensive numbers you can get anywhere on the market. So I'm not really tied to anyone. I think you trade Abreu because he has value. You don't trade him just to trade him.
Yeah, and Abreu is under team control through 2030. So there's still we'll have 5 seasons. There's 5 seasons of having him under team control. Duran runs you through 2029. I don't. If right now start a free agency, you said to me I had to pick one of the two. One's staying, one's going. Duran's staying, and Abreu is going to go. Mainly because Duran, literally outside of Rafael Devers, was pretty much your offense. You know what I mean? Like he was the table setter. Had he not made a bonehead, comment, he would have played 162 games. I also don't think he needs to do that next year. I'd rather not. Let the dude play 157 or give him some days off. We don't like, what are you trying to prove? Like, I want him healthy for a postseason run, but that's again, different conversation. But I would prefer to keep Jarren Duran. I'd prefer to have him at the top of the lineup. But again, do the Red Sox think that Roman Anthony is going to be that top of the lineup guy? He's sitting towards the top of the lineup with the Woo Sox. He lit it up with the Woo Sox. I don't, and look, in my opinion, there is not one player that's untouchable. There's not. Right deal comes across. I think you need to have the conversation and seriously think about it. and that's for everybody. Devers, I guess, is excluded because I don't think you would be able to move that money. So I don't really ever kind of include him in that combo. But, if a deal was available and you can move a Tristan Casas and you're going to get a top of the line pitcher like a George Kirby or a Logan Gilbert, all right, later. You can go find a first baseman in free agency. You free up a left-handed spot in the lineup. You bring in a right-handed bat, and then, go from there. But, I think it's a good problem to have because we haven't had conversations like this about the Red Sox, seeing these guys now develop and now they're turning into something, but you have a lot of really good young talent that's also coming up that could push these guys to potentially be in another roster. Abreu is an interesting conversation. It's an interesting piece, I think if he can get you a high leverage reliever to go along with the Justin Slaytons of the world and Liam Hendricks, and obviously you're going to dip into that market in free agency. All right, I'm open to that. If he gets you someone that can help be maybe not so much for the right. I could also see them trading Abreu rather, and not getting a guy that's going to help them this season. I could also see them getting like a higher end Quinn Priester type guy that might be a year and change away that you can get him into your program, get him down to Worcester, have him light it up, and now you got a Priester and pitcher X and Richard Fitz. Now you have three potential options with, David Sandlin in AA. Probably will see him at some point in AAA second half of the season or something to that nature. So I don't know. I guess I'm in the camp of I would trade Wilyer Abreu. I'm keeping Jarren Duran over him, and nobody's untouchable for me coming into this offseason. And I think if we can look at it globally, but there's going to be Red Sox fans that are going to be like, no, we got to keep them all. We can't trade them, and we got to sign these other. Yeah, to your point, you got to give to get.
Yeah, I think if he gets dealt, it's going to be the Verdugo-esque type deal where it's guys down the road, the Richard Fitz coming back esque type player, and I think that's 100% fine. Like, I know Twitter's going to blow up. Well, we gave a Gold Glover for that's fine. This is how you have to do it. We have enough guys that can go play right field, or at least attempt to. Roman Anthony could go out there. You could move, whatever. Figure it out. I get it, but you can figure it out. And I think the deal that Abreu ends up being in is the Verdugo-esque type deal. And I use it as that, just referencing guys.
I think you froze up. I'll jump in really quick. But yes, I do agree. Go ahead. I think you're back. You froze up for a second.
Yeah, well, yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what just happened there. But yeah, I think that was kind of the end of my rant anyways, but it will be guys down the road. And I think that's the smart decision. Continue to bolster areas of weakness, and within the organization, pitching is one of them. So continue to do that. And you saw with the Dodgers that can never have enough pitching. They won the World Series using a bullpen day, and it's fine because
Ryan Brazier started games
3-4 other legit studs.
Ryan Brazier started games.
But you get away with this is. I can go on a rant about this of everyone's like, well, you just hate the way the game's going. It's like, well, yes, but I also hate how the Red Sox are thinking they can do it. What they're doing isn't entirely flawed. There's logic to it. It makes sense if you have more legit top guys to bolster that top 5-10 players on the 25-man roster. Fill in the other 10 to 15 with these Moneyball-esque type guys. Ryan Braziers of the world, bullpen days of the world. You do a bullpen day because you have the Jack Flahertys, the Yamamotos. That's when you do it. It works, and you saw that. So, yeah, that's the end of my rant because I'll go on for another hour and a half about this. But
Head on over to beyondthemonster.substack.com. Check out all of our latest content. And I'm going to continue to say this for probably the next couple of weeks. Check out Ed Hand's Free Agent Tracker. The way that I'm promoting this thing, you think that, we're getting a couple of bucks off it, but we're not. This is all created for baseball fans to check out. Because to Ed's point in the article, you used to be able to go to Yahoo and they would have every free agent ranked. They'd have every free agent with a blurb. And people are just not doing that anymore. So we have it. Head on over to beyondthemonster.substack.com. Also, head on over to Spotify and Apple. Hit that subscribe button. You'll get alerted for every single time an episode drops. In addition, hit that like button. That'll give us helps us out a little bit. We're trying to get a little more exposure to our shows, especially for the To The Show We Go baseball podcast, where there's a different player interview every single time that we record with that show. It is not a conversation like we do here. It is a player interview from Red Sox prospects to people in the media. We have a lot of interviews lined up for people outside of baseball. This week alone, Peyton Tolley, drafted by the Red Sox this last season, will be dropping, in addition to Justin Reimer, which is actually a Obstructed View baseball podcast episode, and a handful of other guys. Cade Feeney, I think, is coming out this week. That was a good interview that we did last week with him. We got a lot of episodes. So head on over and check all that out. This is the Wilyer Abreu episode. Should the Red Sox trade him? If they do, hopefully they bring back something of substance that they need. If you think the Red Sox should trade him or you think the Red Sox should keep them, throw it in the comments on where you listen to your favorite podcast.